I watched Zootopia 2 this month, and right after that I decided Zootopia 2 is gonna be my personality from now on. So even though this is so far from my normal content, and I'm sure there are gonna be exactly like 20 views on this video, and there's probably gonna be just 10 unique viewers for this whole video, but I still want to share some of my thought that nobody asked for about this movie, and in the end I'm gonna share what goods I bought for this IB. I'm gonna give you a peek, like something like this. And while I'm talking about all of that, I'm gonna take off my makeup and do my nighttime skincare routine. So 2 birds, 1 stone, So I even prepared a note for such simple content because I don't know, I just can't remember anything these days, probably getting old. But first of all, why is the light flashing? First of all, the story. I'm not even exaggerating when I say this is the best movie I have ever watched. I am not exaggerating in any sense. And I'm not like a huge movie watcher, like at all. I might go to the movie theater twice a year if I'm feeling it. And I have had years without going to the movie theater even once in a year. And I don't even watch that much movie at home either. So really, like, you can trust me that I am not a huge movie watcher. And whenever I was there watching a movie, I always feel like I have a hard time to focus on the story. I kept wanting to check time, how much longer I am trapped in this room with this boring story. Like, some movie I can say they are like good movies, but there are like boring moments. So that's why I just can't concentrate the whole time and trying to check time and such. But with Zootopia 2, there's not even once one moment that I thought, oh, this is boring, that I have to check time and see how much long I'm trapped here. Not even once. And I have watched that movie in the theater for 3 times. Today is the 3rd time. I went to like a movie theater that's close to me, and all 3 times you are gonna think by the 3rd time you for sure gonna get tired of the story and you might be bored. No, like, I enjoyed every second of it. The 2nd time I going there, it was because the 1st time I was watching it was the Japanese voice acting version of it. So the 2nd time I wanted to watch the original version, the English audio version. So I thought maybe the 2nd time, like, I just wouldn't. I'm just like trying to get the full experience with the original audio. Like, I wouldn't be that into the story. But no, like, every time I watch that movie, I feel like I am watching a different version of the movie. And each time the theater also got like a slightly different of an energy. So really, like, each time I equally enjoyed the movie. I just feel like this story just makes so much sense. Everything everybody does just makes sense considering their background. So let's say, like, I'm gonna talk about this a little bit later, like, into the character, but like, the main character being the main character, one is more involved in the case and the other one kept trying to drop out from the case. It's like all explained by their background. Like, it all makes sense. And every scene just connects to each other so well. So one of the reasons why I don't really like watching movies is just a lot of time when I'm watching a movie, especially in the movie theater, I just feel like it's too short of a time to give you like a complicated enough story. So sometimes if they try to make it complicated, it just have so many points that's like it just, the dots just not connecting. It doesn't really make sense. It's purely for the visual effect. So it's just like the fast food, but it's like on a screen. You know what I mean? Like, it's only for that moment, the impact you get visually, and you wouldn't feel like you want to watch it any like one more time. Especially for me, again, like I said, I'm not like a movie watcher. If anything, I like to watch shows that they got time, you know, they take time to explain the story in detail, so there's no like gape holes between the logic between the story. So I'm gonna have like a one example, because like I said, I don't watch movie that much, so I don't have much example. But one of the most recent example is I think the Top Gun movie in like maybe 2 years ago ish, probably. You know, it was the you know, Tom Cruise is every time it's him, that he is trying to train a bunch of students to do a mission for the country. Like they are gonna go to the next country to steal something or something like that. Like if you watch a movie, you know that. The whole time in the theater, I just thought that the impact, the visual impact is great, but this whole story, just none of it made any sense. So I, again, like if you're a fan of that movie, I'm sorry, but I think that movie is fast food on a screen. And it doesn't help that I'm not a fan of Tom Cruise. I think he is a horrible person. You know, I am a hater of him. I think he is one of the awful, you know, Hollywood like older white male. Like it's not a shocker that, you know, a old Hollywood white male is gonna be like a trash one. It's not a news, but you know, he is one of them. Like Brad Pitt, is that even his name? But you know, Angelina Jolie's ex, and Johnny Depp. I mean, if you are a fan of any of that, feel free to, you know, leave this video. I am not about to like hear anything about, you know, how great they are, like how misunderstood they are. Like, but yeah, like that movie, I think that movie is like a man's fantasy that doesn't really make sense. The whole movie, the whole purpose is just to praise the main character, like the main female character. Like with her or without her, the story changed nothing. It's just like so much of a like a side quest that has nothing to do with the main story. So I hated that. So for me, I would love to have like a strong female character. So if you don't have that, if you just gonna have a female character that adds nothing to the story, you might as well just don't have it. And they are, you know, they try to throw in some people of color actors or actress, but none of them actually, you know, was like an important character in it. They are all like such like side characters that doesn't like, it's not like important at all. It's very much the same with the female character. So in the end, the most, you know, important characters there, even the slightly bad ones, you know, I remember there was like a jerk. One of the students was like a jerk, and he's white, like a white actor. And you know, of course, Tom Cruise, and I remember there's another student of him that was like with him and helped him till the end. That person, if I'm not remembering wrong, look like kind of white, kind of not. So maybe he's not fully white, but at least I remember he's a little bit white passing. I'm not quite sure. So it's like in the end, you know, here you are, like some female characters, some like inclusive like people of color characters, but in the end, who is the most important is still gonna be like a white male, you know, that type of stuff. And all of the story that just doesn't make sense, why, you know, they are like on such a mission that it doesn't even gonna be, you know, considered possibly successful. It really looked like they're just sending these students to death, and there are like 2 plane crash but nobody died. And in the end, they got off that horrible situation so lucky in a way that doesn't make sense. You know, what do you mean you just get onto a plane that it looks like it's abandoned there for decades, that nobody is doing the maintenance, you know, like who is putting gasoline in there? So, you know, everything just don't make sense. Nothing made sense. It's only for the visual. So it's just for the moment you are there. And I understand that like this hate towards that movie is getting so long, but my point is Zootopia 2 is none of that. you know, it got visuals. The visual is beautiful, like it's all, and it has impact, but everything makes sense, like every part of it is connected to each other. I cannot find any holes in the, you know, gape holes in the logic or like in the stories that's connecting each other. It's all well connected. And I just thought one thing, like the first time I was watching it was weird, is the Lingsley family. They're like so rich, but they got no bodyguards. You know, it's not like it's unusual to get bodyguards in this Zootopia world because Mr. Big got so many polar bear bodyguards, right? That's the only thing I thought that was weird. Like it could be like a convenient part of the story. But then if you think about what type of animal the Lingsley family is, they are cats, right? Like cats are just like, you know, I forgot the word, but you know, they possess, like they dominant like their own field. They don't allow any other like bigger, stronger animals in, like that type of stuff. So I just feel like that also makes sense. You know, they are like, oh, I remember the word is territory animals, right? Is that the correct word? They don't want a bodyguard because that probably is uncomfortable for them to have like such strong animals in their domain, like every single second. So yeah, that totally makes sense. And other than that, even the first time that knowing not so much about a lot of the animals, everything just made sense. Other than, you know, like the snake, the snake's tail is like they're using the Gary is using his tail like human's hand, but you know that's because it's cartoon. It still made sense. It's just like a little fun little thing that you could do with cartoon. Let me wash this off because I feel like I am rubbing this forever on my face. Okay, I'm back. This video has no business being this long because I'm not even done with the first section and it's already like more than 15 minutes. And this is not even my normal content, but I'm a yapper, let me yap, okay? If I just have something that I'm passionate about, I can't shut up about it, and I'm like probably super annoying about it as well. But yeah, moving back to the topic. Growing up, I never had like a comfort movie. It's always shows because, like I said, I think shows just, you know, they have time to actually take time to develop the story, so there's less logic holes in it. But I think from now on, I got my own comfort shows, which I am about to make a lot of irresponsible financial decision that is connected to overconsumption. But I think because this is gonna be my comfort movie from now on, I kind of want a DVD player. And to be exact, I want like a Blu-ray one. I don't know if Blu-ray is a thing outside of Japan because I think it was a bigger thing in Japan, but I rarely hear anybody outside of Japan ever talk about a Blu-ray. And you know, it's in this day and age, it's all like streaming services. But the thing is, I don't want to support Disney that much to subscribe to their Disney Plus services so that I can just watch this one show. You know, if you are like subscribing to streaming services, you own none of the work. You know, you just temporarily gained access to it. So I just feel like having a DVD that I can watch anytime I want without thinking about to subscribe to them is a better solution for me, which is, for somebody maybe is kind of crazy. To be honest, for me it's crazy as well because a nice Blu-ray DVD player is not cheap. And you know, just for one movie it's probably crazy because actually I like two better than one. So I'm probably exclusively just gonna watch this one movie. Am I gonna buy a whole player and a DVD just for this one movie? I might. And I don't want to promote that. So, and I also don't want to support Disney even further because I don't think, you know, they are worth supporting. It's like an evil capitalism, big company, right? But the thing is, we're in like a capitalism world. Every wonderful thing is coming out from a capitalism system. So what can I even do, right? But you know, like without supporting them further, which I already did, you know, by watching the movie 3 times and buying so many goods, but you know, now to supporting them further, I think I'm gonna try to buy secondhand, you know, a secondhand player, so that, you know, it costs less and less of a impulse buy, which it already is, and also buy the secondhand DVD, so, you know, not contributing to the overconsumption even further, you know, not contributing to the waste even further. And walking back to my topics, I just feel like the story of 2 is way better than 1, because after I watched 1, which is 9 years prior to this, I thought it was a good movie, but I do not have like much of a strong feeling about it at all. Like, I just thought it was a nice movie, okay, like nice, like I liked it, and that's all. Now watching 2, I just feel like 1 is only like an intro to this whole story. It's just like the introduction of each character and talking about the backgrounds. I don't know if they were planning to do 2 when they were doing 1, because, you know, they did, because 2 did come out 9 years later, so I feel like it's more of the trend right now to make a sequel out of like a IP instead of creating a new one. Therefore, they decided to do a 2. There might not be a 2 planning from the get-go, but you know, now the 2 is so well done, it really feels like the original one is just an introduction, even though they might not intend it to be that way. And I just feel like 2 got so many layers, and it has so many like meaningful topics, you know, conversations from it. Like I really feel like the snake, you know, the reptiles, was reflection of Black people's history in America. That's how I feel. I see people on the internet saying that they think it's reflecting on what is happening in the world right now. But for me personally, I think it more feels like the America history for Black people. So, you know, originally it was the indigenous people's own home, and the, you know, colonizers came and raped their home from their own hand, which I think that's directly reflected by the Gary's, is that like great grandma or grandma? I think it's great grandma, right? Was creating this town, Zootopia, and got ripped off her hand by a mammal, which I think mammal is more like white, you know. And it's also very, very interesting that they got layers within the mammals. You know, the big animals like I don't know, like predators, or even they are prey, but they are like a stronger prey, you know, like the chief bogle. He is possibly like normally could be considered a prey, but you know, it's like a big freaking animal. And even in the wild, a lot of times like an animal, a prey like that can kill a predator. It's not like it never happens. So it's like very much reflecting on the real world, that even in, you know, within white people, you got layers as well. And Nick is like fox, so it's like seen as shifty, and you know, Judy is a bunny, so it's not taken seriously. So it all got so much layers, and it's reflecting on the real world so much. I just feel like this movie is really made for adults that was younger when they are watching 1, and now they are more mature. They are more likely to want like a deeper story than just like, you know, a bunch of cute animals that like trying to solve something, which is what I feel like about 1, even though it's still a good movie, but that's how I felt. I feel like it's just like a bunch of cute animals trying to solve something. And 2 is not at all that. 2 really feels like it was deeply like trying to be like a mature movie, even though still like it kind of is like a kid's, oh, if you can hear that as my washing machine, like it still is like a kid's appropriate movie, but I think it is like at least 50% of that is made for adults, because I feel like small kids probably wouldn't get so many layers in the story, you know, especially for, you know, the history part that is like linked to the real world. And another layer about this is different people you want to watch the movie with can have a very different feeling for the story. And this can be said like for so many movies. It's actually every movie, you know, everybody can have like a different opinion, but especially this movie because it is about, you know, discrimination, against discrimination. The people can get this or not is like direct reflection on themselves, and their opinion, their view on the characters can also tell you what type of person they are. Okay, with that being said, let's talk about the characters. I feel like the Zootopia 2 characters are so wonderful. There are so many powerful, good female characters that are not sexualized. Emphasize on not sexualized, which, you know, in the past, not exclusive to Disney movie, rather, you know, nationally or like globally, that there's this thing, if you want to make a character, like a female character, you got to make her have big eyelashes, big boobs, like an hourglass feature, even though she's an animal. Like, I feel like even Tom and Jerry, right? The female cats always cast that with like a super long eyelash and like a super glam makeup and an hourglass figure. Even though she's a cat, even though the other male cats don't really have a six-pack, don't have a beard, don't have any human male like features, but the female one got to have like a human female. It's not like even human female like features, because, you know, not every woman have like mascara and false eyelash on. Not every woman has hourglass figure, so it's not even a natural, you know, women feature. But, you know, they got to add on that those type of symbols for like a female body. And I remember first time I watched a movie, I didn't even realize that nibbles, and I think it's got hog bottom, you know, the female like police staff, you know, is I forgot the species name, but, you know, it's a pig but with big tooth, big horns, if that's how you call it. And it's not until the second time that I realized that they were female characters, and I really, really liked that. I like that I could not recognize them through the big eyelash and, you know, the big hip and small waists. I think it's not a character that need those features. It's more like me. I need to do some internal work on that. I got to identify a female character by actual, you know, by them just being female character rather than their like sexualized features, you know. I got some internal work to do on that because I don't like the fact that I can only recognize female characters through those eyelashes and hips and the waist. But I actually am quite surprised it's Disney to do this type of like a very strong and wonderful female characters, and each of them got layers, and it's like, I feel like if you're not adult, you might not be able to get a lot of the layers in the character. That's why I said I feel like this movie is more for adults, even though it's also for kids. Because I'm thinking, you know, the new mayor, the horse, and Hog Bottom, you know, the police officer, they were on the Lingsley side at first. Because it's a social norm, you know, like you don't really go against the most powerful rich family just because, you know, you normally go with them, go the decision that they are trying to go without any evidence to, you know, evidence that you should not follow them. But, you know, you are following them also without any evidence supporting that you should do so. You're just doing so because you're adult, you're like adopted. You adopted the, you know, social norms for the society. But once it's approved that you might step into a wrong lane, they were essentially would try to correct themselves, right? You know, because in the end, Hog Bottom did hesitate and quit shooting Julie with the, you know, the gun, not with the gun, right? It's at like towards the very end of the movie. And also the new mayor did stand up against the Lingsley family, which I feel like that's how a majority of the good adults do. You know, essentially, first your first instinct is go with the social norms, and then if there is new proof that you might, you know, go into the wrong direction, then you would, you know, correct yourself. That's how adult works. It's not like a lot of like adult, at least for me, I know myself, I am not the type of adult that whatever Judy is, I know I'm not. And I feel like Nick is also like a normal, not like a normal, but you know, more like more widely seen type of adult that they learned so many, you know, discrimination and fairness in the social, you know, in the society. So they kind of quit for the most part for like, you know, trying to do things and, you know, trying to correct or make the world like a better place. Is you got to have to be like a follower rather than like initiator, if that even makes sense. But I think Judy is an initiator. None of this work can be done without Judy, because if nobody is initiating it, this work will not get started even from the start. So all of these other like big adults are just bystanders, and only she as like a leader, like she is a real leader, even though she is probably one of the youngest character of it all. I think she is the true leader, and I love that. And I let me just walk through this character list that nobody asked my opinion on, and this video probably is gonna be 3 hours long. I feel like a lot of these characters are so interesting. First of all, Gary, of course, Gary is the cutest little snake, and the scene that he introduced himself as like, you know, Gary the snake, like, you know, he is just so cute. Everything he does, he is like just straight up the cutest thing ever. And the thing that I felt the most from him is when he says that, you know, his family is not trying to push all of the pressure just on his own shoulder, because he doesn't really have shoulders. I mean, that's a joke, but I feel deeply about that, because Judy is someone that she tried to just get everything onto her shoulder. And this is also linked to one point that I talked prior to this, that I feel like, you know, the characters' behavior, their personality is very much connected to their background and what they experience in their life. Like for Judy, because she is a small mammal, she's never taken seriously in this police, you know, this big job world that only bigger mammals are taking a part with and is like respected. So she is always trying to have everything on her own shoulder to prove herself, and also because she is just in general like a very great human, like, not, I was trying to say human being, but great character, you know, a great bunny. You know, apart from that, I think she's just trying to prove herself being her. So she is always the first to, you know, carry everything on her own shoulder. And I think that's one line Gary said really helped her to think about it, that, you know, she does need others' help, and she don't really have to have all of this thing only on her shoulder alone. And I think that, you know, even though I don't know how old Gary is, like, do you know that these animals, they actually have like human age? You know, because Judy is 24 years old, you know, like a young adult, and Nick is 32. I was so shocked to learn he was 32. Like, I don't know why I was shocked, because the character, it makes sense that he is 32. He feel like somebody that's gone through it and is like a adult, you know. And it's like he is around my age, which it feels so insane to say that even like Nick is my age. Like, I don't know. And it's kind of weird that for the first time, Disney, I really think this is the first time, right? Disney have a main character that's over the age of 30. Like, is any other Disney movie ever had a main character that's over the age of 30? That's kind of never seen of, right? Because I think who is the most guilty is the Japanese anime. Is always the 17, not even 18. I don't know why they are so obsessed with the age 17. The main character always 17, like on the verge of being adult but not quite. Like it's giving like a PDF file vibes. I know I'm like over exaggerating this. It's not like it's probably not that, but you know, it's kind of weird that the main character is always underage, like just 1 year underage. It's always that, and the whole world is depend on these 16, 17-year-olds. And you know, the Disney world is not much better. Like they have a lot of young adults, so it's not like the first that is ever been an adult, but I think it's almost never somebody over the age of 30. So that's also one of the things that I think this movie is for like adults, because I don't know how kids is gonna feel, you know, about the fact that Nick is 32. They probably feel like Nick is like a fossil and Nick is like dinosaur, like age. Like I see kids say that, like somebody over the age of 30 is like a dinosaur like level. And yeah, that's that. And Gazelle, you know, the big star, you know, she doesn't really have that much presentation in the story. She's very much is like a symbol there, you know. I think she is like mostly for peace, because every time when the case is solved and it's peaceful for Zootopia again, and it's the time for her show to put on. So really, for me, it's like she's just a symbol of peace. And what's so interesting about her is because Shakira is so embedded in this character. Whenever I see like comment section on TikTok, people address the character Gazelle as Shakira. Like they would say, oh, like Shakira covered Judy without even asking. Like I don't know why, like I thought that was just so funny that they directly call the character Shakira. I don't know, I think that's funny, and I kind of like the song, even though in the first time I listened to that song, I wasn't really sure about it because I felt like it was too similar to Waka Waka, right? Like I feel like it's like almost identical, just a couple notes change. But the more I listen to that song, the more that song is growing on me, because you know, I was in the movie theater for 3 times. I think I just got used to that song, and I think that song is good. And Chief Bogle, another pretty typical example of like a good adult, but it's like adult that's already learned the social norms, you know. He probably has like a love-hate relationship with Judy Hopps. I actually understand why Chief Bogle did not give them like a big responsibility. You know, in the first case, they are like chasing the anteater, because you know, it's a social norm to never put the, you know, the newbies into these big roles. They are like supposed to be somebody just stand by and witness how the you know, senior members been doing it. I mean, if you ever worked, you know that's how work works. Even as a police officer, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So I feel like if I am not an adult that has my own job, I would say that's like kind of a discrimination, and it's unfair for the main character that has to, you know, do the less important job in the case. But as an adult, I fully understand his decision, right? Like that's just what people do as adult in the workplace. So yeah, another example that, you know, that I feel like this movie is more for adult. And also Paubert, again, another example that is like a realistic villain. You know, he's not inherently like pure evil, but he is also pure evil, if you know what I mean. Like his intention might not be bad, because he just wants to be approved by his own family, which we see this a lot in real life as well. People do some awful things to just try to get approval from someone that you know, those people don't really care about them even, especially when those people are their family. It happens a lot. You know, if you have ever just watched any serial killer documentaries, they're all adults that like was kind of mistreated by their family. So you know, for a lot of people, their family is their original, you know, really original story. And for this one, you know, Hopper's family is they're evil, and they are I think he was like a black sheep in the herd, you know, type-ish thing. And I think if he was born in another family, even though it's not like wealthy, but he just could well fit in, he could very much be like a nice guy rather than like a evil, like a pure evil. And you know, in the end, the other Lindsay are all like super pissed, like in the prison. But he was not. Like, I feel like he low-key was having like a better time at the prison with his family. So even though I don't really like what he does, you know, in the end, and betray Judy, I don't really like that. But I like him as a villain. I think this is a very successful villain, very well written character. That everything he does makes sense, because a lot of times the villains are just doing bad things for no reason, you know. I mean, in the first Zootopia, I understand why, you know, Bellwether, is that what was her name? Is the villain. Like, if I were her, I'm probably gonna be the villain too. But you know, the story is a little bit too simple. You know, what do you mean? That's why, like, you just starting to, like, murder, like, almost a whole species. You know, the prey, the predators, all of the predators. That's a little bit extreme. I feel like that's a little bit too simple of a story for like a villain, like the big boss villain. That's a villain. That's a little bit too simple. But I think she also got another layer in the second movie. Like, she's still working out and reading and knitting in the prison, and after she got out, she's still like a little bit evil and trying to do her own thing. I think it's just like she is just very like adorable of a villain. I love her as well. Like, I like a villain just being a villain that's not trying to be better, like trying to be a good guy, trying to change. I feel like you got one job, okay? That's the only one job you have, is to be a villain. Why are you like, I don't know why like a lot of authors try to be the bad guy, change and become a good guy like again in the end. I don't like that type of story. So my type of favorite villain are like Bellwethers, are like Scar. They are evil. They are like from beginning to end just pure evil. Like, I like villains like that. And I also like the fact that, you know, when Judy you know, try to stop him and say like it's okay to be different, and he just refuses. Like, I kind of like that as a villain, you know, stick to yourself, stick to your ground, to be the villain, right? And I don't understand why people are like sexualizing him on TikTok. I think that's weird. But for me, again, like, for a villain, I like this character. I love Nibbles. I love Nibbles so much. I think she's the purest thing ever, and she's so helpful in this movie. And there's a lot of hate, which I'm gonna address in the next section, which is the weird misogyny opinions on the internet towards the female characters in here. You would think, you know, they are animals. They can escape from the misogynistic minds from people, but I guess they cannot. You know, they're still gonna be discriminated by these misogynist people. But yeah, I love Nibbles. There's not much to say because she is just like a fun being to be around. I think she is like the same type of character as Gary. It's just like a side character, but they also carry the story and they are like just fun. And it's more like a support and help the main character rather than like us see them grow and have a character development. Yeah, that's pretty much it, right? So for that, let's walk into the next section that I want to talk is the misogyny towards the character. Can you even believe, like, I couldn't believe it when I first learned that there are haters for Nibbles. Like, why would you hate her? Like, she is one of the most like helpful characters here, and she did nothing wrong, right? Like, what part do you hate her even? I don't make the rules, but I feel like if you hate Nibbles, you are weird. Like, I don't know what else I can put this other than you are just weird if you hate her, because there's frankly no, my laundry is done. But there's just no reason to hate on her other than maybe because she is a female character and she does not have small waist, big butt, and like long lashes. She got none of that. She's just look like a normal beaver. Maybe that's why you hate her. I don't know, I'm just saying, like, if I just feel like if you hate nipples, I don't trust you, and I think you have some internal work that you need to work on. I know I'm like making this too big of a deal when it's just a movie, but I just feel like human beings are more about the small moments rather than bigger moments. But because we are not Spider-Man, we are not Superman, we are not trying to save the world every single day. So it's all details that made you who you are. So, you know, in the details, we really can't tell what type of people you are. So even though I feel like you are free to hate or like a character, I'm not trying to stop you, but it's also my freedom to hate you if you hate nipples. And I just feel like, I don't know why, like there's no goods that's just about her. Like I really want a figure that's her, that's like very well made, that's replicate how she looks, especially when she is hugging Nick. I think that scene is so pure. Like I like it so much, and she's so cute there. Like I think she is like low-key a therapist in that scene, right? And another thing that's like more misogynistic is like people's hate towards Judy. They really treat Judy like she is this little girlfriend of Nick that refused to listen to Nick's reasonable request. That's the way I'm getting it. And the first time I watched the movie, I was with my friend. My friend didn't like Judy as well. She thinks Judy is unreasonable and is like kind of annoying, which for me is the opposite. I thought Nick was pretty annoying for like a lot of the scenes, you know, because he is, I don't know, like he tries to help, right? Like I'm not like saying he doesn't help, but he is like in such a passive way, and he is just not positive and very you know, trying to catch up with the pace with Judy majority of the time. He is like always like following behind Judy, and he's like leaving traces here and there whenever they are running away from the police officers. You know, he left the bucket hat on the deck, and then when like Judy is like trying to save another whole species, and he is like, you know, basically risking her own life for this, and Nick just pull out that recording pen, and you know, trying to make fun of her in that moment. That like she is more than serious, right? Like they just almost died in that tube, which, you know, credit on him to save her, right? I think that she is like moving a little too fast without thinking in that moment. So like, you know, it's good that Nick is like mature enough to save her in that scene, but you know, in the next scene, I think he is the one that's immature to make fun of her when is a like situation is that serious for her to risk her life. You know, he did in the end confess that he just don't want Judy to sacrifice her own life for such case. But the things you understand, she is willing to sacrifice her own life for this case. That's how serious she is with this case. So why can't you take it seriously as well? But you know, that also makes sense because, you know, he is the type of person he never takes anything serious, and that's the trauma that he needs to work on, which, you know, is another thing that makes sense for the type of character that he is. What doesn't make sense is people's hate towards Judy, and they hype up Nick so much by like bringing Judy down as this like little girlfriend that is just, you know, unreasonable. Even though I do think they have like a great chemistry, that they would make like a pretty cute couple, and I think there's a high chance that in the third movie that they might have like some romantic connections. I'm like totally okay if they don't have that, like they just remain partner. I think that's refreshing to see as well. But at the same time, I do feel like they are like a little bit more than just friend. You know, I feel like they got some chemistry, so I'm not shocked if in the third movie they got some slow burn romantic thing going on. But Zootopia 2 is not at all a romance movie, which like a lot of people trying to watch it in the way that it's a romance movie and just make Judy less of a character than she is. And I just feel like if Judy and Nibbles, they are both male character, a lot of people just drink it up, like never hate them at all. They will just like hype them up all the time to be this like the most wonderful character ever, like rather than like some people hating on them. This is pure my opinion. It could very much not be true. Maybe people still hate them if they are male characters, but I feel that's less likely. Yeah, that's why I kind of like probably fearing Judy a lot more. I just feel like people are like hating on her because she is a female character. But with that being said, I don't think Judy is like a perfect character. And this is another thing I like to better than one, because you really can see what they need to work on themselves, and you do see them changing themselves after this whole big case. Because I feel like when Judy said we are very different, it's true, they are very, very different. Like she is probably like born in a family that's like very happy, like her parents care about her and always take care of her and treat her dream very serious as well, and like trying to be supportive and stuff. But Nick is you know, someone that doesn't really have like a very bright past, so like he always wants someone to be with him, but you know, they are solitary animals, so he never had one. So it all makes sense that Judy is, you know, just always trying to be quick, and like she's full of heart, full of hope, that think she can do a lot of things to change the society, whereas Nick, you know, being the way that she, like all of the things he has gone through in his childhood, you know, being looked down upon just as a fox, you know, going through all of the discrimination, it kind of like wear off your like motive, your you know, everything, like you're willing to change the society and such, like it all makes sense. But the thing is, they were not like a great partner, because Judy always go too fast without considering her partner. Like she needs some time to reflect on the case and think about what the next step to take, rather than like always blindly just like, you know, risk her own life. At the same time, Nick needs to catch up on his partner's pace a little bit and treat this job seriously as a job. Like I loved the last scene that they confess to each other how they feel about each other. And it deeply moved me that how he considered her as his peg, that what he always wanted. But at the same time, this is a job, you know, like I really feel like after I watched that scene and rewatched the previous scene, I can tell that he is here only because Judy is here. He is not here to do his job. He is here for his pack, and that's the only thing. That's why he is never like too into the case, because that's not why he's here. Which is why I was a little bit annoyed like for some of the scenes, because you know, this is work, even though like I know I'm taking this too seriously, it's just a movie. But you know, if you consider in real life, like a true police officer is chasing your case that's urgent for you, that you might lose your life over, which police do you want, Judy or Nick? For me personally, Judy. Okay, Judy all the time. I feel nothing would change if like my police officer is Nick, because he just doesn't care. Not saying that he's bad, he is not, but you know, again, he has his own trauma that he needs to work on before moving on with his life. But the thing is, if he is my police officer, I really think my case would never get solved. But if my police officer was Judy, I'm pretty sure my case is gonna get solved faster and better than if, you know, my police officer was anybody else in Zootopia, in DPD, right? So, you know, as if you are a victim, Judy is the type of officer you want, right? So him being there, I just feel like he is kind of like disrespectful towards this job, because he was not like fully taking the responsibility there. And I feel like if you only wanted a pack, you could just say to Judy that, you know, I just want to be your friend, you know, your family, rather than your partner, because, you know, I didn't want to be a police, and me being a, like your partner might, you know, slow down your case because I just don't care enough. The only thing I care is about you. I feel like he could make that conversation if he just never wanted to be a police officer, you know. But I also understand, again, he has something that he has to work on. I'm just saying, like, in the second movie, I see them in the end, you know, Judy slowing down for the partner, and Nick treating this job a little bit more seriously. And I do feel like in the end of Zootopia 2, they are like a perfect partner. Like, it's okay to be different. They are very different still, but it's okay to be different. Nobody said the partner should be identical to each other, right? I don't know how I yapped this long for a movie that's not even cast by real human being. Like, you probably thought I'm insane that I have so much to say for like a animated movie, you know. But I do feel like this is really gonna be my comfort show from now on, that if I have nothing to watch, I'm just gonna put this show on. And yeah, if you got any thoughts towards, you know, this story or any of the characters that you want to talk this with, you can leave it in the comment section. I would very much love to discuss. Like, there's no question that's like too serious. Okay, like, because I am already taking this too seriously and I'm too into this, and I have nobody love this movie as much as I do that I know around me. Okay, so if you want to talk about this with me, I would very much love to have like some discussion in the comment section. So yeah, like my throat kind of hurts and I'm kind of tired because I'm talking for like more than an hour straight. If you watched this long, you are my true friend. Okay, thank you so much. And did I forgot to talk about all of the stuff I talked about? I was fully prepared to say goodbye before I realized the second section is supposed to be talking about all of the stuff I got. Okay, let's take maybe 10 minutes more to talk about all of the stuff that I got. Okay, so okay. First of all, I don't know if you know, but in Japan, if you watch a movie, like in different weeks, each week they're gonna give out different little things when you watch it in the movie theaters. So I have a bunch of those. Well, when I say a bunch, it's like 3 times. So 3 little gifts. So the first time, I got these little cards, which is pretty nice, but I just don't know what this card exactly do other than just being a card. You know, there's nothing printing on the back, and this is like what's in the front, and that's it. This is the first week, okay, and the second week is a little bit more interesting. It was some cards again, but it's like this card's like more nicely made, and this card, like this card feels like those battle cards that you use to do like card battles. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm talking too long at this point. And third, which is the one I got today, is another like a full shot of every character's, probably not the villains. Yeah, like only Paubert, not his family. So like majority of the main stuff in Zootopia 2. And there's a little bit of print on the back. And by the way, I really love Mr. Big. I think Mr. Big is so cute. So let's move on to the stuff that I actually purchased. I don't know if this is a thing, but in Japan, you have normally, for the majority of the movie, you got these files. So you put like prints or something in it, which this one, I really like. It's their, you know, this like the Gary just like strangling all of them. I do feel like the color is a little bit too dark. I think it's a little bit more bright of a color, but I do think they're all like so cute together in this shot. And in the back is Judy and Nick. I actually love Nick's new outfit. I feel like it's like very tropical, and I heard that this new tie, like the floral tie he uses, is a gift from Judy that is a gift for their first case. And I believe this was confirmed by like one of the, I don't know if that's author or the people, you know, just, you know, one of the makers of this movie that I'm not quite sure. And inside they got like some more character shots and even some like from the first movie. And yeah, they are so cute. And I also love her. What's her name? Is it Fru or something like that? Like, it's a very cute name. I love her. They're all so cute. And I also really loved that shot when they were wearing police officers' uniform in the beginning scene that the mayor is introducing them to the town. And Joocyee just made this like a very proud face. I thought that was so cute. Like, she was so confident and like so cute. I love that shot. I hope they made that shot like a figure or something that I could put in my own home. And this is another file that's like in a different art style. I'm not quite sure how I feel about this style because I feel like other than Pobert and this leopard that I forgot his name, other characters doesn't look like themselves. Like Nick, you mean Nick look like this? I don't think so. So yeah, but I still bought it because I thought this is still cute. And there's another one. You know, this their it says their, how to say, like picture for the promotion of the whole movie. Like if they got like a DVD, I'm pretty sure this is gonna be the cover type of, you know, typical picture of them. And there is another full shot of all of the characters in the back, which I thought is like kind of cute, you know, like them driving a car. And I also loved the scene that they were acting like a couple, and they were like having the little, what was the little ones called, you know, their baby. It was so cute, that scene. And you know, the whole scene, Nick is trying to scam the anteater, and Joocyee just standing by, like, don't know what's happening, like being all like I thought that scene was so cute. And you know, before the movie aired, launched in the movie theater, people that ship Nick and Joocyee was talking about, like, if they were a couple, if they are gonna make them a couple in the second one, what about their kids? Which I feel like this mentality is kind of weird, that, you know, having kids will determine, you know, being able to have kids or not will determine if you're gonna be a couple or not. I think this mindset is very, very weird. I think that's entirely different thing. But what is funny is they were saying, like, you know, because they cannot like give birth to a child, so it must be weird in Zootopia for them to, you know, be a couple. And the other people were making example of the dragon and the donkey in Shrek. So like they if they can make a donkey and a dragon have kids, Nick and Joocyee can have kids. I thought that theory was pretty funny. But you know, it's proved that in Zootopia it's not weird at all for a fox and a bunny to be a couple, because the anteater is not shocked at all. And also is that the sea lion? The one that's like a taxi driver for the, you know, the water market area that I don't know what's it called, that they go to see the reptile. That one, they were like even celebrating their anniversary, right, by playing the song with the lights on. They are not surprised at all. And you know, the fact that they had this idea to act as a couple, just, you know, just hinting that it was not weird to be like a interracial, interspecial couple in Zootopia, right? I thought that was kind of funny. And you know, my first thought in the movie theater, that the first time I see that scene, is just, so yeah, it's acceptable for them to be like a couple actually. Okay, whatever. So the next one I got is this mug. The mug itself, it got the same style of art with this file. So I think it's like like drawn or designed by the same team. And they got like a figure in this mug cover, which I think this lid is kind of cute. It's like a silicone, and I think for how small these are, I think they are very, very cute and very well made. That's why I bought them. It is not dishwasher safe, but I do put this part in the dishwasher. I just hand wash the lid. This is so cute. I don't regret buying this. And I also have this bucket hat that I bought today because the last 2 times I went to a bigger, more fancy movie theater, so it was all sold out. It was all of the useless things that was left. The ones that actually got some functional, you know, usage to them are all sold out. So they didn't have this bucket hat. But yeah, this time because I was at like a movie theater very close by to my house, so it's like a very small and kind of like a old, not so fancy one at all, so they got some on stock. Actually, I would love to have Judy's cap, but they for that one they don't have like an actual cap, like a human-sized cap. It's like a keychain that's this big for 2,000 something yen, and this is 3,000 something yen. So I just feel like it's kind of silly to buy a keychain for only 1,000 yen less than this. And you know, I generally think like close to 3,000 yen for a keychain is kind of crazy. So yeah, but the thing is, I'm not even a hat wearer, like any head wearer. My hair is so fine. It's gonna leave trace all around, but I still bought this. I just don't know how it's gonna look on me. Fine, I guess. I could wear this in the summer. I think it's now I have longer hair. It just look less weird. When I had like shorter hair, wearing a hat is like never my thing because it just look very weird, and it doesn't really help. I got like a very big head. But yeah, even though I don't think this look like as good as it look on Nick, but I don't think this look bad. I think it's like acceptable. I might wear this in the summer. Yeah, it's nice. I would appreciate this to be a little bit bigger though, for my big head. Yeah. And the last 2, I got 2 big puzzle. This one is how many pieces are here? 108 pieces. And I think it's for this one, this picture, and this is a much larger one. I think this is probably 500 pieces. Yeah, 500 pieces. And I think this is for 1, not 2, because the characters are all the original 1 character, and there's not one single Zootopia2 character inside. But I thought the art itself is very good, and the color is like very cute, very colorful. Even though I love, you know, how, you know, the way they are like arranging the character in this picture as well, the fact that they don't have any background, it's like all white, it just feels weird, and I feel like I'm gonna have such a hard time trying to put like these white like part together. Like, I think it's just gonna be a headache. But yeah, I think I love this way more. I might even buy like a frame for this one. And is these things like globally, you know, do they sell the same stuff globally, or is this like just for this market, just for Japan? I don't know. But I still want another stuff from them, which is like a set for 6 probably figure for the main characters in here. And I think it from the picture it looks pretty cute. And I also kind of wanted the ZPD, like their I don't know, like the pass please hold to prove they're a please, you know. They have like a card holder that looks like exactly like that in ZPD. I think that's pretty much it. I might order it online because they don't have that in stock for any of the movie theater that I have ever gone to. So yeah, this is so long. I feel like this might be even like close to 2 hours of a footage. I don't know how I can yap about like an animated movie for this long. It's never that serious, but yeah. If you can't tell, if it's not clear enough, I love this movie. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Bye.